Hello and welcome to the Cim50 Stock Control Module Overview. My name is Martin Connor. I'm the Commercial Manager at Cim Software, and at the bottom there you will see my contact details and website where you will find brochures, feature guides and case studies for our Cim50 solution. Today we're going to focus on the Cim50 Stock Control Module to show you how you can easily control your stock and integrate that with your Sage 50 account solution. The stock control module is one of 6 modules in the Cim50 suite, which these comprise of the stock control module, bills materials, quotations, planning, works orders, and shop floor data capture. I will also be providing overviews of the other 5 modules in future videos. So, the Cim50 stock control module is a facility to track and maintain stock items you sell, buy, and manufacture. This module, as I say, integrates with your Sage 50 Accounts Professional products, providing streamlined management of stock. All the fields will be available from Sage 50 in the Cim50 solution, and all amendments are logged in our audit log. We also provide a stock projection for future demands, multiple supplier and price breaks to enable you to control your supplier costs, traceability for batch and serial numbers to track through purchase, manufacture and dispatch to your customers. And from within the Cim50 solution, you can carry out any transaction, including the purchase order receipts, sales orders dispatches, and the ability to amend both of those. Within the quarantine feature, you have the ability to inspect items that you've received from purchases, from manufacturer, or at any time. The stock take feature allows you to keep track of your stock levels, allowing you to build a stock take at any time. Coupled with this, we do have key performance indicators and statistics for suppliers, customer dispatches, and manufacture. During the demo shortly, I will be covering off some of these key features. So, shall we have a look at the Cim50 stock control module features? Okay, here we have the Cim50 solution. Down the left-hand side here, we have the modules. So I have 5 of the modules available to me. The shop floor data capture is available in a separate logon. So within the stock control, we have the ability to create new stock items, amend stock items, view stock items, run reports, and then we have the various features in between, such as the stock profile, traceability inquiries, stock adjustments, the receiving, dispatching and producing of credit notes, quarantine and inspection, and the stock take. If we look at a particular stock item that we may have an interest in, for instance, this timber oak, this data set that we're using today is office furniture, so we have a variety of items from timber to screws, drawer sets, tabletops, etc. But for this item I'm going to focus on it's the raw material, which is the timber. As we can see, we have 400 in stock, 90 allocated, 310 free stock, and 20 on order. If we wanted to break down that figure, we would drop into the profile, which will give us a further breakdown of those figures. And as we can see here, we have a purchase order which is outstanding with a due date. I also have the ability to view that order. And because I have access to Sage 50 accounts, I can open up that order. I can also see that we have some cupboards on order at the same time. Moving through these fields, we can see that we've also got these items on a works order as a component with a quantity required, quantity allocated, and a quantity outstanding. So as we've allocated 90, reserved those items, we have 100 outstanding. If I move to the profile, we get a running total for these items. So as we can see, we've got a opening balance, a purchase order due in, and a works order due to take quantity out of stock. Moving through to the statistics, we can see that we've got 2 suppliers with a number of receipts, an on time and in full percentage, late receipts, average days late, etc. And in the graph at the bottom here, we can see some purchase order statistics of suppliers, our 2 suppliers here, where we've got one which remains quite sort of static in its costings and one that's rather erratic. So moving back to our stock item then, if I go into the amend, we can view all of the fields which are available. These include a mixture of fields from Cim50 accounts products and Cim50. So here we can see we've got the categories from Sage, some extra descriptions, locations, stock management, so whether the item can go into quarantine or not, whether we print labels on receipt, the types of item, images from Sage. If I move through to the financials, you will see that we can view the financial data such as purchase and sales nominal codes. And if I amend one of these fields and I save that and I drop now into Sage, you will see that the change has taken place. I updated the purchase nominal code to 5001. If I close out of this screen and go back to Cim50 and drop into that item again, and if I move to the audit log, you will notice that the change has been recorded by the user, when it was carried out, and what was changed. Moving back to the fields within the product record, we've also got costings, tax codes, international trading. Most of this has all come from Cim50 accounts. Traceability, so this item is a batch traceable item, which is automatically generated with a prefix. You can also set shelf lives and expiry dates as defaults. Moving through to suppliers, we can see here that we can have multiple suppliers, which gets used by other modules within the Cim50 suite, such as bills of materials, trials, kitting feature, planning, and the MRP recommendations, works orders, and its trial kitting feature. So within the suppliers tab, we can set a preferred supplier. We can have supplier part numbers, lead times, minimum order quantities, order multiples, cost prices, and you can also start to see our carbon footprint calculations starting to come through into our system. We also have price breaks, so if, for instance, from 1 to 200, we get charged £2.06, but from 201 to 400, we get charged £2. We can record that information, and this will get used by the planning and MRP features. If I move through to units of measure, we also have the ability to record manufacturing units. So in this example, we buy in each and we use in meters. We could also have a unit set up of millimeters, inches, centimeters if we wanted to. And these will get used within the bill of materials module and works order module. Moving through to the MRP tab, we are pulling through the reorder levels and reorder quantities from Sage 50 accounts. We also have additional fields such as order multiples, because we may buy a batch of 100 and then in batches of 25 thereafter. Maximum stock levels, maximum manufacture quantity, because we might only be able to make a certain number at a time. And various other fields which are used by the planning and MRP module for making the calculations or carry out the calculations for the MRP. Okay, such as ordering methods, so reorder quantities, multiples of the reorder quantity, precise quantity, and reorder quantity plus order multiple. More about that in a future video. We can also aggregate demands together. In this example, it's 5 days. So if we have the demand on a Monday and a demand on a Friday, the MRP functionality would look to pull those together. We also have the ability to reschedule purchase and works orders and exclude items from MRP altogether. Moving on to the alerts, some of you may be aware of the alerts within the Sage 50 products. The Cim50 solution takes advantage of these and takes them further than what Sage 50 accounts is able to do, where that goes to invoice quotes, sales orders and purchase orders. We also utilize these in delivery notes, bills of materials, MRP, quotes and works orders. You can add, amend and remove alerts from here. So essentially what it will do is either pop up a message or pop up a window for you or the user to review. Attach files. So any file can be attached to your stock item. This is just a shortcut, so you can attach a file or a folder and open that document. Additional information, such as certificate of conformity information, which can be dropped onto various pieces of documentation. So, say for instance, delivery notes, labels, works order paperwork can all utilize these fields. As with the document notes, such as dispatch note comments, picking list comments, the web info information has come from the Sage 50 accounts products. If all of those fields are not enough for you, we also have analysis codes, essentially 20 custom fields, which are text, numeric, date, or Boolean fields. And these are set up by a user with the relevant access rights to the settings. Audit log we've already reviewed, but these changes that I've been making as I've been going along, when I save the record, will be also recorded in the audit log. History is stock history from Sage 50 products, and any stock movements that you carry out within Cim50 will be recorded in the Sage 50 products stock history. Batches. We've also got batches for this item, so these are the traceable records. We've got a date of when they were received into stock, locations, a quantity, the quantity allocated, the supplier's batch number, which is always important when we're recording batch details, and we need to refer back to these if a supplier comes back to you with a particular batch number that may have a problem. And then the individual batch history, so we can see where a particular batch has been used. Okay, this one at the moment has been goods in and an adjustment out. So we made an adjustment, a manual adjustment, and who the user was. So if I save the details and go back into that stock item and go to the audit log, you'll see that we've updated price breaks and the nominal code, etc. has been updated as before. As well as having the ability to create new products, amend products, view products, we can also copy products. So copy one from another. Profile we've looked at. Traceability, if we wanted to view a batch and we knew maybe the supplier's batch number, we can get to that detail without knowing the stock code or your batch number. So if the supplier came to you with a particular batch number, you could review that. And then from there, we can drill into the detail, look at maybe the costings, whether it's gone through quarantine or not, any attached files, because you have the ability to attach files. We also have an inquiry to come at it from the same, from a different angle, but looking at the same data. So we can see that where did this GRN come from or this batch number come from, purchase order number 11, and there was an adjustment out. So you can review any data there. Stock adjustments, if this is an item that is traceable, then it will give us the ability to pick the batch that we want to make the adjustment against. And that may be that we're transferring it to another location, we're amending some of the detail. Okay. If this is a non-traceable item, so if we just move to a non-traceable item, we get a screen which doesn't present us with the batch numbers or the traceable items. It just gives us the ability to move an item in, out, move to quarantine. Under external, we have the ability to receive goods, and we can do that by order number, supplier, due dates, or product code. So if I know the product code, but not necessarily the purchase order number, I can pick up that purchase order. So it's purchase order number 12 and start to receive the goods. It's recognized instantly that there's a batch traceable item. So prompting me for details such as supplier batch numbers, certificate numbers, maybe the location, or I might want to split this batch down. I've got the ability to attach documents. That might be a CFC or something of that nature. And when I confirm that, I can see what works orders need this item, so I could route that straight out onto the shop floor, so making your goods in department efficient in the way that it routes materials out to the shop floor. And if I receive these goods, I'm then prompted to produce a goods received note, which could be placed with the goods. These can be laid out however you like. We use crystal reports. And then secondary to the goods received note, because we've told the item to do so, we get a goods receipt note label. And on this goods receipt note label, we have a barcode with the batch number on it, which is utilized using our shop floor data capture module at a later stage. If we were to maybe issue this stock or carry out a stock take on that item, we could utilize that barcode. Because again, I have a setting set, it is also giving me the ability to allocate the stock to the outstanding works order that we saw earlier. So I can do that. So I've now reserved that stock for that works order on goods receipt. I also have the ability to dispatch goods within here. Okay. Also within the received purchase orders area is the ability to amend a receipt. So I can pick the purchase order that I've just received and I could make an adjustment. So had I received too many, I could reverse that. It's like an undo button. As long as the stock hasn't been used, then I can reverse that delivery. Okay, quite a useful feature over and above what Sage 50 accounts provide you with. Okay. It's also important at this stage just to point out that if I go to the purchase orders within Sage 50 accounts, you'll see that the purchase order has been part received and the line has been updated with the delivered quantities. Also under the external, we have the ability to dispatch goods. The advantage of dispatching goods within Cim50 is that we have the ability to dispatch multiple sales orders on one delivery note. We can amend a delivery. We can print picking lists. When we reprint the delivery note, we use the same layout. Okay, it's not a different layout as is the case in Sage 50 accounts. And once we're happy that those goods have been delivered, we can update them to invoice. Okay, it will create the invoice in Sage. So if we go ahead and receive goods, I'm going to pick up a sales order. We can see that we've got 37 ordered, 37 outstanding of these oak desks on sales order number 6. I'm going to dispatch the 37. It's instantly recognized that this item is a traceable item, so it's presenting me with just the one batch that we have available. If I had multiple batches, I could select individual batches, or alternatively on a first in, first out basis. So I'm going to select the quantity from the batch, and I'm going to dispatch that item and that sales order. I now have a delivery note. I haven't got an invoice at the moment because I haven't updated to invoice. So what I can do with that is I can amend that delivery note. So I could reduce that dispatch quantity. I could add further sales orders or sales order lines for the same customer to that delivery note. Okay. Make all the amendments I wanted to, amend batches if I want to. So if we didn't pick the actual batch that we thought we were going to. I can then print picking lists. So again, a layout that can be amended using Crystal reports. Once we know that the goods are ready to go, we can then produce a delivery note. And we have an optional box that can pop up to tell us or prompt us to enter details about the dispatch, consignment numbers, package info, weights, etc. When I print that, it will then prompt me for the delivery note to use. And as you can see, we've got the delivery address, packaging details, sales order details, product details, and batch numbers. Again, can be amended to suit your needs. Once we're happy that those goods have been dispatched, I can then update that to invoice. I can combine multiple delivery notes onto one invoice for the same customer. That's now produced sales invoice number 8. And if I move across to Sage 50 accounts, there we will find that sales invoice number 8 has been created. with sales order details, delivery note details, quantities, prices, all been updated. And if I review the sales order number 6, we can see that that's been dispatched complete. Moving back to Cim50, what I will do is now move into the quarantine area, and we can see that we've booked an item into quarantine and it's awaiting inspection. If I inspect this item, we can enter the quantity that I've passed. We can put some notes and certificate details if we wanted to. We can say that there was some rejected, reason for rejection. We can see what works orders may need these items. It's not the case in this instance. And once we save that, we can produce an inspection report. And because I told it to do so, a returns note. They've now been moved to the historical area where I can review that at any time. If I review that item and look at the stock history, we can see that we've got our past quarantine 3. And the other one has been scrapped via quarantine because we've booked 4 in, 3 have come out. So maintaining that traceability. Moving on to the stock take feature. What I can do is I can create a count that can be for all items or specific items. So I can set up a where clause. It might be that I'm interested in a particular category. So I might want to do a stock take on my fasteners or other materials. So some sort of perpetual inventory maybe. I'm going to add all items because it's a relatively small data set. And from here, if I wanted to, I could remove items if I wasn't interested in maybe stock taking certain items. If I'm happy with that list, I can then save. And I now have a stock take, which has been created and it's got a status of awaiting print. If I print the count sheets, again, we can have different layouts. We can see here that we've got count sheets, and in this instance, I've not added the expected quantity. That is a setting within the system settings. So we're going to force people to count the items. Now that they've been counted, printed, sorry, we also have the ability to export that to Excel. So enabling you to fill that pre-fill spreadsheet and import that back in once you've entered your count quantities. So hopefully speeding up that process of stock take and enabling you to possibly do it more often. While an item is in stock take, just show you this quickly, I'm not able to carry out a stock movement. Again, that's a system setting, so I can stop people from carrying out a stock transactions. That includes receiving goods, dispatching goods, issuing to works orders, etc. So if I go back to my stock take, I can update the count where I have the ability to import figures if I want to. But in this instance, I'm going to enter them manually. I'm going to put my initials in, say who counted them. I'm going to enter a value in this particular field. This tube on this particular batch is open in balance. And we can see here that we've got the quantity and we've got a variance there. I then have the ability to save the progress. Okay, so I could keep coming back to here to keep filling that in as the count sheets come back, or I can update the count. I can tell the system that I've finished the count, and I'm going to say that I'm ignoring the items which haven't been counted because everything else was exactly spot on, so it saves me having to enter those quantities. That's now been moved across to historical count, where for traceability purposes we can see what was actually counted and by whom. So if I now move back to the stock items list and look at my free stock figure, we can see here that we've now got 1,399 of this tube in stock. And if I view this item, there's my stock take quantity. Moving into reports, generally we reserve the financial reporting, stock valuations, etc. for Cim50 accounts. These reports within here are more around sort of traceability details, supplier performance details, those sorts of things. So all the additional sort of functionality within Cim50. Okay, the final area that I'm going to show you is the dashboards, where we get sort of a breakdown of things like stock valuations, best performing suppliers, worst performing suppliers, age stock by valuation, movement dates, so if we wanted to look for a particular item and when it last moved in Cim50 or Sage, stock valuations by sale by date, all quite useful information. Okay, so that concludes today's overview of the Cim50 stock control module. So as far as next steps are concerned, just a reminder, brochures, case studies, feature guides can be found at cim50.co.uk. And if you've got any questions, please email me. My email address was at the beginning of this video, or please feel free to email info@cim-software.co.uk. Thank you.